Now is coming up to 8:10.
Now, as in the news, and many parents will be following with concern the story of the missing teenager Laura Stainforth. She's disappeared, is thought to be with a man in his 40s whom she met on a website.
So what should teenagers be doing to try to keep themselves safe? Siobhan Freegard is from the website Netmums, and she's here with her son Sean, who's 12 and uses chat rooms himself. Hello to you both. And John Carr joins us as well, and John knows all about internet safety. Morning, John. Thanks for joining us. If we can talk to Siobhan and Sean first. Sean, we were saying you use chat rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. How often do you go into a chat room?
Well, most days, like, you can get sociable out of school, like, because you move secondary school, you can keep up with your old friends and everything. But, like, yeah, so, and also you can plan stuff with them. So, like, go out on Saturday, let's say we want to go to the cinema. You just say, and then they get their friends, we get our friends, and then...
And it's always your friends, is it? You never have anybody coming into the chat room who you don't know?
Well, if my friends say, oh yeah, this person's adding you, I would like say I don't know them. And like if someone tries to add me, and like they type in random things, like you just make a rude comment. I did that when I was like 10 and like wasn't allowed to say anything, and I said a rude comment and they left me alone. I didn't, yeah.
Okay. John, how is it that a teenage girl like Laura Stainforth can go away with a man who's 49 years old, who she would presumably have realised, what he was like by the time she met him?
I'm afraid in about 2/3 of the cases of this kind, the child knows from the very beginning exactly how old the other person is, and even in the third where maybe the guys told them a lie initially, by the time they've agreed to meet, almost always they'll know that they're going off to meet a much older man.
What might the attraction be?
Well, I mean, here's a young girl just coming out of puberty, just getting interested in boys and relationships and so on, perfectly normal, natural. The tragic misfortune that she's had, of course, is that she's run into a much older man who are very practiced very often at cynically manipulating a young girl's affections, convincing them they're in love and all this kind of stuff. It's a horrible, horrible situation.
We were talking to the head teacher from Laura's school, and he was saying he's issued a letter to all parents saying these are the things to watch out for, these are the guidelines. And one of the things he said is check up every few minutes on if your child is in a chat room, just to make sure they're talking to people who are age appropriate. Do you do that, Siobhan? Is that something you do?
Well, no, I have to say I don't. To a large extent, obviously there is a danger here, and it is something that's going to worry parents, but it actually doesn't worry me as much as all the other dangers that are out there for teenagers. And I think in the same way, I have a daughter, the next one along, and in the same way that I will make sure that she knows not to get into an unlicensed minicab when she goes out when she's a bit older. The kids know that you don't talk to strangers, that you don't know who anybody is online, and it's so much a part of their lives now. It's, I spent hours on the phone as a teenager, yapping to friends until I was in trouble for phone bills. This is their communication, and there's no point saying to your kids, don't go on it, I don't want you on that computer. They need to learn
risk,
how to use it.
But how can you tell, John, online whether someone's genuine or not?
Very, very difficult to do, particularly, as I say, these guys practice these things. They'll go looking, they might try, maybe 100 times in a day to find a child who's willing to talk to them, and if they just get one success out of 100, for them that's a big bonus, and they'll focus on those children.
What sort of questions what's the lead-in?
Well, classically what they'll be wanting to do is find a child who's feeling slightly alienated, slightly isolated, so they'll say, how do you get on with your mum and dad, what they want to hear is, oh, I never talked to my mum and dad, they're horrible, they don't understand me. Straight away he'll be back saying, well, funny, I had exactly the same experience when I was a kid, I know what you're going through, I can be your best friend. Another thing they'll want to know is, can anybody see what you're doing? Where is the computer? Is it in a place where mum and dad can look over your shoulder and see the conversations? They rely on secrecy and being able to manipulate secrecy. And these are the kind of things you've got to get across to your children. It's a horrible thing to have to do, but it is just like minicabs and things like that, part of modern day parenting.
And Sean has actually managed it already very well, because you're telling us about that incident when somebody contacted you and you didn't like them, so you told them to go away in a rude way so that they wouldn't come back.
I said to him, why are you being, because he was right beside me, I said, why are you being so rude? And he went, I don't know who it is. I said, it might be a friend or a friend of a friend. I don't know who it is. And it was just blocked. And that's the sort of the savviness.
Because a lot of people are writing to us saying, don't demonise the internet and the chat rooms, because actually they're quite valuable for people like you if you want to talk to your friends in the evening and you don't get a chance to socialise with them. You find that, do you?
Yeah, well, you can speak to a lot more people than one phone call. So you can have like 5 open chats and like get something out of it afterwards. And it's much more fun than actually phoning one person for just like 5 minutes.
It has to be a two-way street, really, in the sense that you, as a parent, you've got to be able to see, without prying, what's going on.
You obviously need to know what they're doing, and I think that the head teacher's comment is absolutely valid about keeping an eye on things, but in the same way you can't you can't monitor everything they're doing all the time in the same way that you wouldn't read a child's diary or listen to their phone conversation. So to an extent, and when they go out with their friends, to an extent you have to give them the tools and then trust them to work with that.
We had an email from a child of 15 who said the last thing I need is for my parents to keep checking up on me every 5 minutes like a prison suicide watch.
Yes.
If parents keep checking up on us to see what we're doing or who we're talking to, we won't feel safer, we will just feel a lack of trust. Just because 1 or 2 children are irresponsible, it doesn't mean all of us must be kept in lockdown or bubble wrapped so that we don't run off. I mean, it's a good point.
Absolutely.
John.
It is about developing trust. It's not fundamentally about the technology, it's about trust.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
John, thank you very much. Thank you.